Hi, this is Rich Lavens of Watlow, and today we're going to have a look at the Eurotherm nanodac, specifically the batch function on it. Batch function is an option on the nanodac. If you ordered the nanodac without that function, that can be a field upgrade by use of a feature pass code to unlock that batch option. There's another video on doing the feature pass upgrade that you might want to refer to if that's your situation. In short, though, the nanodac is always a data logger. So the minute you power it up to the minute you shut it off, it's logging data. So if you ran that for several months and had to go back and find a specific run of data, that can be challenging. You would have to keep track of like when you ran it with paper and pen to go back and look at that date. What the batch option allows you to do is tag a beginning and end of a particular run that then you can query whatever you call that batch in iTools. And I'm going to show you this in iTools as well. So anyway, what we're going to do here is go over to iTools. I'm going to configure the batch option, and then we'll come back to the faceplate of the instrument and I'll show you how to run it. All right, so we're over here on iTools. I've connected my nanodac to iTools by way of the network cable or Cat5/6 cable. So first thing we're going to do is if I look over here at the folders on the left, if you see the batch feature, which I have right here, it'll be yellow. If you don't see a batch folder on there, it means your instrument probably doesn't have it. So that's where you would have to go through the feature pass upgrade to enable that. But in our case, we have it. So let's go to Parameter Explorer, and we'll go to that batch folder right here. So Parameter Explorer is here, batch folder. And you can see that everything here, for the most part, is blue, which means it is read only. So what we want to do is set this up. So you'll have to log into your access or configure mode. And your password will likely be different than mine. Okay, we are logged in, and now you can see that I still have the first four parameters as read-only, the blue font, and that tells you if there's an active batch, what the start and stop time was, and the duration of the batch. But here's where we get into the setup. So if the selectable batch mode, if I click here, right-click, there's a help menu, and it'll tell you what options are available. I have a continuous batch option, a start-stop, or a sterilization. Now, my nanodac has a sterilization block, so if you have it, you may see that. If it's there and you can't choose it, it just means you don't have a sterilization block enabled. So in our case, I've selected start-stop. So here, the next one I have are batch fields. This is the number of batch fields the user must populate. So in my case, I have 3, but I can enter anywhere from 1 batch field up to 6. So let's just enter 1 here. So there's 1, and the description to use for the batch field. Now I typed in job number 1, but I can type in whatever I want. Lot number, part number, so forth. So we'll just call this lot number, just so I can show you that it changed. So there's that. If I go to 3, that's where I'm going to end up. So there's 3. There's the lot number. The second descriptor for data field 2, I call lot number again. So I've kind of duplicated. So let's just put part number. And then the third field in my application, just an operator's name. So that takes care of that. The batch field 1 mode, I can start this a couple of different ways. I can use text, which is basically going to the push buttons of the nanodac and selecting start or stop a batch. But I could also tie that to a process value. So when I hit 400 degrees, for example, I want to start the batch. You could set that up in iTools as well. For our application, I'm just going to continue with the use text. On start log, the number of fields to log in your history file on start. I want to log all 3. I also want to log all three when the batch is stopped. And then right here, the number of fields to clear on a new batch start. So what can happen is somebody's went in and entered a lot number, a part number, and an operator name, started a batch, stopped a batch, and then if he hits start again, it will retain whatever he puts in here. And I'll show you that on the nanodac. However, if I choose to clear all three fields on a new start, it will force him to enter a new lot number, a new part number, and a new operator name. So again, I can clear all of them or part of them. So again, that'd be up to you guys to decide. The name file by batch, we do want it. So whatever our first field is how it is going to name that batch. That's what we're going to do a query by. It'll show up in your history as whatever that lot number you entered was. Down here, I'm running a batch on my nanodac right now, but I could start and stop a batch from the iTools. We're not going to do that here. The other thing I want to show you is, we're going to go back to Parameter Explorer, and we're going to select Instrument. The batch field, although visible on the nanodac, in order to change anything, you're going to have to be in either a supervisor mode or a user mode. You could do it in engineering mode, but that gets a little tricky because in engineering mode, it actually shuts off the process controller part of it as a safety. So I'm going to show you two ways. First, I'm going to go into security. So security by default is going to have an engineering. The supervisor passcode or passphrase is not populated by default, but if you enter anything here, for example, QWERTY1 would be my password. Once you populate that password parameter, you will see that as an option in the nanodac. So instead of just having engineer and logged out, now you'll have engineer supervisor logged out. Now, you may not want everybody getting into that security level called supervisor. So over here, you can create different users. So I've created one here called Rich L. I've put in a password, and then I can give Rich L various levels of access, one of them being the batch, which is right here. So I've given myself batch. And then the last thing, so that kind of gets you into being able to manipulate the batches, the display. If you have batch mode enabled, it may not actually have the screen turned on. So in this case, the batch operator view is not on. Now it's enabled. When I go through the nanodac, if I did not have that turned on, you would never see the batch field or the batch screen. So we're going to turn that on. I think that does it from an iTools standpoint. So we are going to log out of access mode. So that puts the controller back in more or less the run mode. And we'll pop over to the nanodac again, and I'll show you the screens and how to kind of fill in the fields on that. Okay, so we are back at our nanodac. And now if I hit the up or down key, so we have our page key, our enter, or sometimes called scroll button, down and up. So if I hit up or down, we want to find the batch summary. So there's the batch summary. So I do not have an active batch at the time. My job number is QQQQ, and there's a start and stop time for the last batch that was run. So let's enter something new. Oh geez, I can't. Well, that goes back to we're not logged into the right level. So we're going to have to log in. We can either log in as supervisor, engineer, or Rich L. Engineer is fine, except you have to remember that when you're in the engineer level, the controller kills the outputs as a safety precaution. So that's not always optimal. So let's log in to, we'll just go supervisor. And we'll have to enter our password. And after the password's entered, you'll pop into the supervisor menu. We don't really need that. We're going to go back to the home screen. Now when we go to that batch field, you'll see there's a little folder in the upper right hand corner. If we hit our enter key, that folder turns orange, and we'll hit it again. And now we can put in some data. So we don't have an active job right now, so let's scroll down to new, and we're going to say yes. Now, see how it cleared the job number, lot number, and operator? That is the what we set up. We want to force the operator in this case to make sure he enters the new correct data. So we'll just put in a job number of 1. We'll put in a lot number of 2. And we'll put an operator. We'll just make it my initials. So now I have my job number, lot number, and operator filled in, and then to start it, we're just going to go to start. We're going to hit enter, up or down, yes. We have now started a new batch. So there is an active batch. There's your job number, lot number, operator, and then we can start or stop it there. So the other thing I'll show you, going back to our line chart, you can see I'd been in here before, but once you start a batch, it time and date stamps the start of that batch with the job number, lot number, operator name. When you stop it, it will also time and date stamp the stop end of that thing. So that's the batch feature on the nanodac. It's very useful, makes finding particular runs super quick and easy. If you're storing the data in a UHH file and you're using the Eurotherm data reviewer to open that log data, there is a feature within the data reviewer that allows you to search by whatever the description was. So in field 1, you could search for lot number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it instantly pulls up the start and stop times of that particular run, and then you can kind of dissect it from there with some of the analytical features in data reviewer. Hope you find this video helpful. Thank you.